Hello and welcome to Label Sessions Presents, the podcast where we talk to the most interesting people about all the things you need to know in the world of innovation, business, design, tech, and culture. I'm Fuzlin Esau, and today we're joined by two brand new label mates, new experts to the Label Sessions Network, as well as Josh Nixon from the Label Sessions team. Hello and welcome to Patrick Mullot. Patrick is a former trader and sales leader who now drives innovation from deep inside one of Europe's biggest bank. Also, hello and welcome to Vikram Ramarajan. Vikram is an innovation strategist known for his ability to build innovation ecosystems, launch innovation labs, and help global clients unlock growth with emerging technologies. Google's new VO3 is showing us a lot of interesting things about the future of AI. Its new video generator capability seems to suggest that there's a lot now that may be possible. At the same time, we've also seen issues persist with AI hallucinations, as just this week, both the Chicago Sun-Times and the Philadelphia Inquirer picked up their summer reading list with 15 books, 10 of which did not exist. And only existed in the AI's imagination. Where are the opportunities and the traps for those of us who are building products with AI right now?
So I think in terms of opportunities, I think it's only limited by your talent, and it's how you are able to use AI. I think if the person behind the machine is not a very smart one, I don't think you can really do much about it. So I think the bigger challenge here is how are you able to upskill the person behind the machine so that they can understand, do the right prompts. And that's a challenge we face with a lot of teams, especially the younger generation who not very, who are actually digital natives, right? Who've interacted with, let's say, a smartphone, a tablet from day one, right? So unlike me, I took this up a lot later in my life, a lot of the digital products. So I think the bigger opportunity here is how do you upskill and how do you kind of make them think in the right way so they can leverage AI to the maximum. Because I think what's going to happen is as AI systems become smarter, we should be able to harness it in the right way. Otherwise, you're going to get these kind of gaffes from time to time, or you get videos which are on the border, or let's say which kind of cross ethical boundaries. I think that's a very important discussion as well. So I think that is the larger opportunity, in terms of how do we upskill and how do we, make the talent within a company smart enough to use AI responsibly.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would say from the I don't have any clue about VO3. Time will tell, because we just see that on I/O, and we all know that demos are great. Then you have to use the product for but at least what they show is very impressive. But at least for our experience with the odd model, text-based model, the output is as good as the user inputting the prompts. We've seen that on our industry. If because of hallucinations and because of maybe the lack of, because it's not deterministic model, you are never sure that the answer is complete, which is for us probably the worst part. Is it's very hard to know if something is missing. It's much easier to detect that something is wrong. And for example, all the tasks that we are developing, which are basically data extraction from documents, from contracts, or any kind of financial statements, if the person using the AI is not skilled enough, it's very easy to let some mistakes slip through this filter. So you need the human in the loop when you do something which is very precise. So I guess that for videos, it will be exactly the same. I mean, someone that is not very skilled at video editing or video creation won't do a lot of good quality material. So the AI would be very, very helpful, saves time, but you need someone that knows what he's doing. And regarding the other thing that you mentioned, with the list of books, yes, I would say this is not usually, it's not really the fault of the AI. It's more of a symptom of our society where the press is not fact checking anything. Uh-huh. So basically, it has to go as fast as possible to the media, and doesn't matter if it's not true. I think we all are aware of what is happening in the press globally, and This is sad, but that's the world we're living.
Yeah, I just have a personal anecdote. I do heritage walks on weekends, in Mumbai. So there's a lot of times when history tends to be fuzzy, and and when I'm hosting guests from across the world, they've read about it somewhere, or there's some, on Instagram you have these AI models, talking about fake historical facts, and they get into fights saying, no, this is true, and all of that. So and I'm actually showing them, it's they're on a printed book, it's verifiable thing, you can go read it later. They said, no, but I read it somewhere. So it's always a bit of a challenge to grapple with all of this. I'm forecasting this is going to increase over time, but yeah, this is the evil we'll have to live with.
Yeah, I was going to say in regards to the video aspect, and I was going to agree with you guys completely on the curation side too, is that, the garbage in, garbage out kind of thing is that, regardless of the output, it needs to be checked by someone before it goes live, in an ideal world anyway. But I've been thinking about this a lot when it comes to video, is that, and even imagery to some extent, is it's only a matter of time, and it probably already has happened, where two people will give the same prompt individual of each other, and the same assets will start popping up. So then, not the creativity aspect is still there, but then it starts, devolving into obviously all the problems of plagiarism and so on and so forth.
LLM are probabilistic and statistic models, so we are doomed to regression to the mean. So if we all use the same data set with the same engine, at the end, everything will be very mediocre. That's the empirical technological thing that we all have to assume. So if the prompt is not genuinely authentic and rich, then the output would be as the same kind of quality of anyone else, and we will all be generating this kind of mediocre content, and the next model will be trained on those mediocre data and will become more and more poorer and poorer, I would say. So yeah, we need. That's why I always say we need the human in the loop. It's very important. We need the human in the loop to make the AI progress and make it better.
I think it's one of those things that we deal with a lot here at Label Sessions, is sort of the idea of responsible innovation. And one of the core tenets of that is to always make sure that you are innovating with your values in mind. And I think the minute you start losing that is when you start getting the sort of hallucinations. You start getting a move away from where the truth actually is. Because you would think that the number one value for a newspaper would be to fact check and to make sure that what they're printing is correct. And for them not to do that, that's such a move away from their values that they've really sort of dropped a ball entirely. And for the journalists as well to not fact check their work. So I think that for us is sort of a key thing, is that idea of sticking to your values and making sure that it's built into whatever innovation you're doing. And that hand in hand with sort of the human touch is really how you're going to see more and more responsible AI and responsible innovation. Fantastic.
It is true. If you look at the AI Act from the European Community, as usual, European regulation could be improved, but at least the spirit is okay. And somewhere in the text, it is said that for companies from a certain size, if you are an employee that uses AI to generate some kind of output that goes to a client, you have to train yourself. You have to do some course. So this is the responsible part, where the companies have to make their employee aware that the AI model will never be responsible for what it outputs. It's at the end, it's a company that publishes what it publishes that is responsible for what it publishes. So it's the employee at the end that sign at the end of the page, even though OpenAI or Google is behind. They will never assume any responsibility about what is said, and if it's wrong or misleading, it's your fault. So yeah, user responsible AI is critical, and obviously for my part, working at a bank with so many regulations and so many laws and compliance, there's no way around it. So it's embedded in our DNA.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why the public sector adoption of AI and Gen AI is so it takes so much of time. So if you look at the leverage of AI across industries, public sector, they have to be very, very careful. So sometimes even if certain experiments are successful, it takes a lot of time, because you have to cater to the entire population without exception, unlike brands who can have a target segment. So I think that's one of the reasons hampering the scale of adoption of public sector of AI in the public sector. I think once we're able to kind of have some sort of framework regulation, I think and have a more responsible ethical AI, it'll make it a lot easier for governments to start scaling this, and you'll have a lot more government embedded services which people can access.
100%.